I had a dream several years ago that the zombie apocalypse was basically happening, except that the vast majority of the world was pretending that it wasn't. So basically you'd see zombies here and there, everywhere, but no one was talking about it or doing anything to stop it or to protect themselves or other people from the problem. So the problem got really freaky because you couldn't confidently trust anyone to not be a zombie. Because from far away, anyone could be a zombie. And from close up, they still might be infected, but they definitely weren't going to tell you about it. But I remember the scariest part of the dream was that because a large portion of my own family was also avoiding thinking about or acknowledging the apocalypse, nothing had been done to secure our own house in any way, including closing windows and doors. And you just couldn't feel safe anywhere in the house because there was always this awareness that there were zombies with you. And that was just an altogether really unpleasant and creepy feeling. A feeling very similar to the feeling of finding out earlier this year that several previously fairly well-loved members of the YouTube community are actually toxic, maggot-hearted genital warts. I'm normally kind of uncomfortable using genitalia-related insults, but I think that genital warts does a decentish beginning of a job. Summing up Alex Day and EddPlant, Mike Lombardo, Tom Milson, and all of the other sexual offenders who've been involved in the YouTube sexual abuse scandal. Most recently, Sam Pepper and Jason V1I. Though honestly, Sam Pepper has never done a very good job hiding what a beef-witted sexist he is. And if you don't know anything about any of that stuff, because you've maybe been experimenting with the lifestyle choice of living under a rock for the past 7 or 8 months, I will put a link to the master post that explains all of it in the description, and you can catch up with that, because it's gonna do a better job than I would. I didn't say anything on the topic back in March because I didn't feel qualified or like I had anything of value to add to the discussion that hadn't already been said way more eloquently by multiple other people. But like so many others have already said, we all need to be talking about this. Not talking about monsters doesn't make them go away. It leaves them to rot in our hallways and our closets, and it leaves us and everyone that we care about uncomfortable and unsafe. We need to talk about this because sexual predators need to know that they beyond disgust us, and that we do not want them here, and will not tolerate them sticking around in any capacity. Yes, EddPlant, this means you too. And we need to talk about this because the people who have been victims of sexual abuse need to know that they are important and loved and brave, and that anyone who implies otherwise in their YouTube comments or elsewhere is a bag of tools who doesn't know anything. It's really easy as smaller YouTubers to assume that whether or not we voice our opinions isn't really going to matter. But just like you always hear during voting season, that is also a really dangerous reaction to have. There are a lot of us, and all of us staying silent is also going to make a difference. Just not in the right way. Don't know what that was. One of my least favorite animals is a wildebeest, and there are a lot of reasons for this, but one of them is that whenever a predator infiltrates a massive herd of wildebeest, I'm talking as far as the eye can see, there are crowds of wildebeests in every direction on this plain. And inside this herd, if a predator goes after a baby beast, the bystander wildebeests will do one of two things. They will either run away, or they will stand by and calmly watch. None of that helps, and there are lots of them. If even 1/10 of this giant herd was to decide, finally, you know what? You're not going to eat our babies anymore. They could trample the living daylights out of a lion or cheetah or anything stupid enough to try. And overpopulation would happen and it would be a massive problem. But that's not a part of this analogy, and I think you can see where I want to be going with this. Let us please not be wildebeests. Let's not run away from this, or watch it happen, or ignore it like an inconvenient apocalypse. Maybe we can't and or shouldn't become a massive team of vigilantes who hunt down predators and cut out their gonads. But we can do our best to make our voices heard. And our voices are a lot more powerful than silence. Sexual predators like Sam Pepper and Jason need to be permanently removed from this platform. You do not get second chances after using your power to manipulate and abuse people. They say they're sorry? Good, I hope they are. They need to continue to be sorry, and they need to be kept far, far away from anyone who is naive and vulnerable enough that they can hear that apology and think that everything's okay now. So that's my vote. I think that for a start, their accounts need to be permanently removed. Thank you to YouTube for removing 2 of Sam Pepper's sexual harassment videos. Please do more. That isn't enough. If you're a YouTuber who makes videos, I do strongly encourage you to make a video and say something about this, and involve yourself in the discussion, because we can't just let this die out like it's the latest challenge tag. If you don't make videos, you can start, because I would always encourage that anyway, but you can also share around other people's videos who have spoken a lot better on this than I have, and I will try and link as many of those as possible in the description. We call ourselves a community, and I think it's the dark times that really make or break that, when we either step up and stand together and speak out against what we will not stand for, or we ignore it and just keep stuffing marshmallows into our mouths and trying to say chubby bunny. I'll see you eventually.